Hi everyone, thank you so much for tuning into my tarot channel today. I wanted to do a reading and I'm going to pull some cards. So the first card is Queen of Wands. There may have been a situation recently where you felt like you were coming into your power, or that just may be a recurring theme that's coming up, like you're being called to maybe set limits, set boundaries, be more decisive in your action, just to be even more like in charge of your romantic energy, I'll say. Okay, Ace of Pentacles reversed. You feel like there's something that's not coming, like an opportunity that you're waiting for that's not presenting itself. Like maybe you're like, oh, I just really need to get out of this situation and the only way to get out is XYZ, and that's not happening. But there is another way, and there is another like possible set of events that could create change for you. So I'm just saying that in a positive way. The Fool reversed. You feel like a little bit blocked in terms of starting again in your life. Like maybe you're not able to make choices right now that feel like they're forward moving, like you maybe a little bit stuck in the past. We got Justice. There is like just a feeling of justice. I just feel like you're like maturing in the sense that you're like standing by your own beliefs or feelings in some way, in a way that you haven't before. There may be some situation that was unjust and now it's like justice is coming to light, or you're feeling more like there's justice in the situation in some way. Got Two of Pentacles. You're definitely like balancing some sort of situation in the earthly world, like some material situation. Maybe it's like work and some other endeavor, or raising kids and being an entrepreneur, or I don't know, like some sort of like combination of things that you're having to balance. We got Seven of Wands, and you feel a little bit like you're struggling, like maybe you feel like defensive or like on guard is what I'm hearing. Maybe somebody here's like into fencing or like wrestling or some sort of like karate, something like that. So I have some writing, just some sort of consciousness things that I wrote down, and sort of like using the world as a tarot card. So just like whatever comes up is like being channeled. And I wrote a bunch of things. I wrote that you might want to look at what planets were retrograde when you were born, because that can be really interesting in terms of like what qualities or situations might be latent, or like maybe like asleep in your life right now. I wrote Pollyanna thinking. So maybe somebody here is like, Pollyanna thinking is like, it's from this play and movie Pollyanna. It's sort of like positive thinking no matter what the circumstances. So I feel like that's helping you in this situation that you're in. I wrote I was a mute child, which is kind of true. Until I was like 5, I was like really quiet, like I didn't speak very much. And I don't know if that's just like something that you might want to look into, like selective mutism, and maybe there's like some inner child within you that feels a little bit muted also. I wrote Skeeter Davis, End of the World. It's a song, I think it's from the 50s maybe. It's like, don't they know it's the end of the world? I don't know. I just feel like maybe you feel a little bit like some old world is ending and you're entering a new situation. Since we got the Fool card reversed. I wrote Rasputin, who was an evil healer, who was like a reverse healer. Like he worked with the royal family in Russia before they were overturned, and the little boy was a hemophiliac and he had a blood clotting disease, and Rasputin said he could heal him, but he was actually just like part of the plot against the family. So I don't know, he was like evil in some ways. So I don't know, there's just maybe some sort of like villain in your experience, and I feel like it's almost like you've had to become your own healer in response to this villain person. You might want to just like watch some material about like narcissists, psychopaths, Machiavellian people. Just, I don't know, it seems like it's important for this reading. I also wrote Stanford Prison Experiment, which happened in 1971, which adds up to 9, a 9 number. But anyway, 9 can just be like humanitarianism and also the planet Mars. So like maybe you've been like really active lately. But the Stanford Prison Experiment was at Stanford University, and it was like they made a bunch of the kids, the college kids, be prisoners and a bunch of them be guards, and eventually they had to stop the experiment because the psychological effects were too much, because the kids took it too seriously, and then there became like just too much identification with being this like punishing guard or being this like victimized prisoner, and it was like detrimental for the kids. And you just look that up. I feel like there's something here in the reading about like some sort of negative psychological situation that you found yourself in that was like you had to remove yourself from the situation. I wrote Diana Cooper, who is just like a tarot card author woman. I just want to look at her work. It's a little bit out there. Some of the tarot decks are very like into unicorns and like really spiritual and about like Metatron and different dimensions, and she's just like someone that you might want to look into. Diana Cooper. I wrote As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. I just feel like I'm rushing through this reading. I feel like there's something that like you feel like you need to move fast with, and it's not exactly happening fast, so you feel like you have to push ahead. But the more that you can realize that like your brain just works fast, I feel like that you'll take more time for yourself to slow down. I think that's an important thing for this reading. Like, just let yourself like do things in the way that you do. Don't try to stop your rhythm. Maybe you're like a fast worker, but try to make moments of time where you're doing nothing in between that, okay? So like moments of rest. I wrote that I had a vision of somebody in a waiting room, like with their name waiting to be called, and I think that's like you're waiting for healing. You're like, it's like your name's coming up. That's what like the energy is saying today. It's like your name is coming up in terms of like energetic healing that you've been looking for. So that's really cool. The As a Man Thinketh is about, it says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So like what you think you believe, basically. And it was written in 1902. So I don't know, there's just like something, let's see, let's add that up. 10, that would be a 3. There's something about communication and creativity. Like you speaking your mind has to do with being creative right now. I don't know what that means for you. I wrote Smurfs. So that could just be like something from your upbringing that was important. I also wrote Polly Pocket. I don't know, that was just like a game that I had when I was a kid. It like opens up and just in this like little mini hotel world, or this like little mini apartment. I don't know if you just feel maybe like your world is small, or like even like your vantage point is changing in your world. I wrote Fibonacci sequence, which is when like it's sort of a swirl, and I think it's 3, 2, 1 is the proportions, and it's just like shows up in galaxies and tree branches and shells, and it's just an interesting thing that it has in common with all these things in nature that just naturally swirl in this way. And I just feel like there's something about like noticing synchronicities, noticing like even shapes that you see over and over are divinely put there for you. Like shape healing, I guess is what I'm saying. Like every shape has like a healing message is what I'm being guided to say. not going to say everything here. Oh, I wrote Hildegard of Bingen. You might just want to look her up. She is a German Benedictine abbess, composer, philosopher, mystic, visionary, medical writer, and herbal healer. So she just would write these like weird poems about like the spheres and like the herbs and like just the universe, and she just is weird. And just look her up. Her books are like very poetic and out there. And I just think the idea of like healing words is important for this reading. Yeah, you may just want to do some like self-affirmation. There may just be some plants that you want to interact with, like nettles is coming to mind, stinging nettles. So that could be just something to look into. Excuse me. Oh, I wrote there's a Bigfoot sighting in Connecticut, which is funny. I wrote Khalil Gibran, The Prophet. That's just a really great book that you might want to look up. Some of the themes are just like mentorship, just like learning about love and life, learning about the relationship between God and the world. I don't know, just look that up. I wrote the song Dark Star by Grateful Dead. Yeah, that's just like an interesting song. I was listening to somebody on the radio saying it was like so out of tune, but I think that there's something beautiful in Jerry Garcia's voice that is out of tune, and it like kind of works, kind of like Bob Dylan, but a lot of people don't hear it and they don't like it. There's just something about your like what you have to offer the world that like is similar. Like not everyone's gonna hear the pitch that it's at, but some people will. And just like be ready to let those people come forward and work with you as time goes on in your life. I wrote The Lethem Theory, which is just a great book that's really popular by Mel Robbins, that is just matching the energy. There's some people or some things that you need to just be like, all right, let them do them and I'll do me. Like, let them go have their life, let them act this way, let them whatever. And let me is the next part. Let me decide how I want my situation to go and my experience. I wrote The Marriage Plot by Jeffrey Eugenides, which is a modern version of Middlesex, which is a great book by George Eliot, which is a pen name for a woman, but both are great books. I've read both of them. And Middlemarch is more like gossipy and like rich people gossipy and like more like an ensemble. And then I would say the Jeffrey Eugenides has less characters, but it's a similar theme. And it's the way he ends it is she has all these like suitors, kind of these men that like her the whole time, and then she just chooses herself. You know, she chooses her own journey. Not to say that she'll never see these people again or like maybe see them again in life, but she's like, at this time in my life, I choose I choose loving myself. And there may just be a situation like that where you had multiple people that you were like interested in or whatever. I'm sorry, and you're choosing yourself. There's a little squirrel going by with like a huge like a crab apple in his mouth, and it's really funny because he's so small. I'm just gonna put that on the reading that like squirrels are about like, you know, getting ready for the winter, like getting all of our ducks in a row, getting all of our like nuts saved for the upcoming season. So you may just be in a place like that where you're actually literally thinking about the upcoming next couple of months where like the weather will change or like maybe some of your situation will change. So the squirrel also for me is about like just daily increments, like doing something in little bits, like every day laying a brick for the foundation of something and believing that over time you can create things. So setting small goals. Excuse me, my stomach is growling. And I wrote just a little bit of channeled writing. This is just from my subconscious, from your guides, from my guides. It says, we don't want you caught up in information. Info only takes you so far. It says the joy vibration is easy to attain. Soothsayers, every word uttered is full of love, is full of your love. If you go to the top of the sun, you can find the coldest thing won't stay cold. Okay, so I just want to interpret that. Usually I don't interpret what these say, but like, I feel like we don't want you caught up in information. It only takes you so far. Maybe someone here is like, you're like doom scrolling the news, or you're like a WebMD fellow person. I am guilty of this. Or you're like, I have this is going on. And that can be so beneficial to just be like, hey, ChatGPT, like, what's going on with these symptoms? But like sometimes I just feel like you're overindulging in the info that's out there, and there may also just be about like info about like other things or other people. It's just like excuse me, mind your own business a little bit is what the energy is, what spirit is saying. And also just like beyond info, trust your intuition. Like you may have the facts about someone or something, but there may be an underlying feeling that's different than the logical facts. So the joy vibration is easy to attain. Soothsayers, every word uttered is full of your love. I feel like that's just like sort of spirit saying that they're watching you. Like maybe you're like someone who uses language in your job, or you're just like someone who uses affirmative speech with others, but it's like spirit is saying that like they see that you're trying to help other people in some way through communication. And the joy vibration, it's like it's easy because all you have to do is speak yourself into happiness by affirming to yourself, is what spirit is saying. So, and then if you go to the top of the sun, you can find the coldest thing won't stay cold. It's like there may just be something really challenging right now that it's like spirit saying just like remove your focus from it. And also like there's something challenging, but it's also like environmental, like you needed to get away from a situation, or you need to get away from a situation, or maybe like there's someone who's like emotionally cold, or maybe you have felt this way, and it's like there's a thawing happening over time. I'm just going to pull a few more cards for us, and then I'm going to close the reading. We got 7 of Pentacles reversed. You may just feel like you're misaligned with your financial situation right now. Like you may just feel like maybe you're not getting individual clients and you're like freelancer, or maybe you're not, finding the right kind of training that you would like. And it's just like frustrating and maybe feels debilitating. Oh, we got that again after shuffling. So yeah, you really feel like stuck. You feel like don't know like what to do kind of vibe. And what does spirit have to say about this feeling and this situation? Just take a rest, okay? Taking a mental rest is really important, because you're going to have insights about things that from different views, from the top of the sun, like the channeled writing said. You'll see like a different way of seeing, a way of thinking than you have before. We got 9 of Pentacles, and that's going to lead you to abundance and inner, self-fulfillment, and also like an easy route is what I'm hearing. And the 9, we got that earlier in the reading with the Stanford Prison Experiment. It's almost like some negative situation is causing you to move towards self-reliance and independence. And I recommend, again, I have recommended this before, the book Self-Reliance by Ralph Waldo Emerson, which is a short Penguin classic. And I just like the design of Penguin books, that's why I recommend that one. It's just really about like the philosophy of relying on your own. That's just relying on your own intuition, which comes in a lot in nature. And people in Transcendentalism, which is his movement, were like really into being in nature. And I'm just also thinking of Fruitlands. That may just be like, you might want to just check out that area of Massachusetts. It's like right outside Cambridge. It's like a little colony. It didn't last very long. It was like a utopia. Okay, we got the World. I'm also thinking now of Barahack, which is like a little settlement in Pomfret, Connecticut, where I used to live. I lived there for a little bit. It's like an old settlement that you can go and like see like a little graveyard, and like where they hitched up the horse, and like foundations of houses, and then you can read online about like this family that like had like a lot of kids and sort of lived in isolation there, and then I think they died out. Maybe there was like a sickness and they all died, but I don't know. There's just something maybe about like a ghost town. And also with the world, it's like maybe you're being called to travel or change locations. Also, just I'm tuning into maybe that you're hearing about the world and having to soothe yourself from some negative things you're seeing in the world, but also you're feeling a little bit more like you can trust yourself, like you are, I'm thinking of the song, you are the world, you are the children. You're feeling a little bit like, I'm worldly, you know, like I know what's up. We got the Two of Swords reversed. You're also feeling like stuck in between some situation, indecisive, but I feel like Spirit's already made the decision for you, and it's just a matter of carrying on positively. Keep calm and carry on is what I'm hearing. I'm thinking of the movie The Queen, which is just an interesting movie. It's an older movie from when I was maybe in my early 20s, and it's like this period of time when after Princess Diana died, and the Queen would not comment on it, and she finally does, and it brings healing to people in, like, you know, the UK. And it's about how, like, some cultures, people don't want to, like, talk about tough things. They keep a stiff upper lip, and you may have been that kind of person in your life. I feel like I'm just saying it's okay to talk about hard things, and it's okay also to know when to be silent within yourself. And we got the Knight of Pentacles reversed. Sorry, it's broken. Maybe you just feel like a broken Knight of Pentacles reversed. Like you feel like, oh, I don't know how to get towards my goals, and my goals feel unattainable, and I have these goals, but I can't, like, do them, and I want to do this, and it's not happening. And it feels like it's a chance for Spirit to take control here. I like to read that as this card here. Like you're gonna get some gut impulse, some idea to change things, and it will make itself clear. Oh, the World again. It will be clear. Let's get bottom of the deck. What will be clear, Spirit? Ooh, the Star. It's like the healing comes with the Star, the community and the world together, your place in the world, in the community. Like you're about to be seen in some way or known, and it has to do with what you're saying and where you're going. Like you may also just be traveling, and the Star is community, but it's also healing. It's also just like a hot spot of good fortune and spirituality. You may just be healing some issue, maybe multiple issues. I got Knight of Swords. You may just be a little bit hasty in terms of feeling frustrated right now, but Spirit's saying, like, don't, you know, you've been very patient, and don't stop now with your patience. Just like it's okay to be like frustrated and feel hasty and like you got to charge ahead, like this card, but just be strong, have strength, and know that, like, there's things happening. I want to read this here with the Moon. There's things happening that, like, you can't see. Like there's an ebb and flow happening that, like, Spirit is guiding you towards something that makes sense in your life, towards a more home oriented situation, towards a situation maybe with like another person that involves relationship. There may be like someone who hid their feelings from you, but they do see you as really strong. And yeah, there may also just be another person or a person. This could be like multiple relationships. There could be like one or two people who perceive you to be strong-willed, and also they see you as like somebody who, sorry, I'm just getting bottom of the deck, final card. Ooh, maybe you've been through a Tower moment, but this person sees you as someone who remains positive, and yeah, there may just be something about children or like the inner child, again, creativity with the Sun. But the Sun and the Tower together, why are we getting that? Because it's about balance. we got this card already. Because it's about like, okay, there's been tragedy and hardship, but there's also positive things and looking forward to the future. And yeah, again, rest. And all we can do is hope. We can envision what we want with the Wheel of Fortune, and we can just move towards that wheel of positivity. Like, we can, if things are tough right now, think of some better times and releasing resistance. You know, maybe watching a movie, laughing, doing something enjoyable, something that like raises the vibration a little bit, because working on raising your vibration is going to bring all these other things into play. So that's the reading, and thanks for tuning in.